I'll never forget sitting in my bedroom when I was 16 years old. I was living at home with my parents at the time, and I felt like the whole world was on my shoulders. I felt like the next number of years are going to be extremely challenging. I came from a family where, we struggled financially. We had just enough to really get by, but there was always this kind of dense energy in the house around money. Anytime money was mentioned, it kind of brought up this like negative emotion that we all got triggered by. And over time, I just felt like, okay, well, this is going to be a real challenge because when I go out and go into the workplace or when I decide to do my own thing, whatever I was thinking about at the time, I will have a lot of challenges around money. That was my belief that was instilled because that's how everybody operated around me. Now, I felt like this was a curse. I felt like, you know, my upbringing was this kind of challenging thing that I was just given, and I felt like poor me, fell into the victim mentality. There was a lot of conflict in our house just between my parents, between me and my parents, and it was just a lot of stuff that went down. Like any household has their things, right? I get that. But I felt like there was this curse over me. And I was just kind of wondering as I got older, like, how am I going to actually break this? Like, how am I going to change this? I feel like I have to carry this. I feel like I have to change this. I feel like I don't want to be the one that just continues this whole cycle of struggling for money, of, falling into conformity and just being like everybody else. I felt like I was here for a reason. I felt like I was here to change things. And I didn't really understand what that felt like until I reached the age of 20, 21, 22, and my mind started to develop a little bit more. And I was in college going the route that I thought was the best route because both of my parents didn't go to college. So I thought, okay, if I go to college, then I'm going to have better opportunities. Quickly realized that that was not the case, and this was not the path that was going to give me the life I wanted. It was just a slight improvement from what my parents had. And at that time, I felt like, okay, this is just getting harder. It just keeps getting worse. I'm like, how do I improve this? So the path for me was, how do I become a man of substance? How do I become a leader? How do I become more influential? How do I build a skill set that cannot be taken away from me? And that's the journey I went on. I had goals, but those goals were dreams at that point of 10K a month or six figures a year, which was 10 times the amount of money I was ever used to making. I was only ever really making 1,000 to 2,000 per month, and getting some help from the government at the time when I was 18, 19 in college. And I worked, some factory jobs. I worked in an off license, which is a liquor store. That's what we call it in Ireland. And I was doing all kind of these like odd jobs throughout the summer and things like that. Never really anything that was, transformative in terms of finances. So I had to find a better way. And I realized that after doing, a lot of the action taking and the buying of courses and getting into programs and getting into mentorships and being able to get guidance, because I invested every single penny I could into finding mentors outside of school and outside of what everybody else was doing. I realized that the only way for me to break the generational curse that I felt like I had on me was to go deep within myself, was to heal, was to master my energy, was to master my mind, my emotions, because everything I was doing, yes, it was bringing me forward and it was helping me make progress. But the real transformation for me, and has always come from doing the internal work, which is why I do what I do today, which is help people with this process. And I can't even tell you the depth that was required for me to be able to go and do that. And not saying that I've arrived anywhere or that it's done or I finished it and it's like, yep, that's done. It's a continuous process, but there's levels to it and there's an evolution to it. And when I was looking back on those moments where I was sitting down in my room, sitting on my bed and just feeling depressed or feeling like I couldn't get out of this rut, or I felt like a victim and there was nothing I could do to change it, and I would blame my parents and I would blame my upbringing and I would blame everybody around me. And a lot of the times I would have tears in my eyes just thinking about, like, is this going to get easier? Is this going to be something I'm going to have to face for the rest of my life? When I think back to those moments, they're the moments that I had to heal. They are the moments that I had to reframe. And that's why I always say to clients, I say on this channel, that everything in life is a growth opportunity. My belief around all of this is that our spiritual essence, you can call it God, you can call it the universe, source, frequency, you can call it consciousness. That essence of us that is conscious, that is within everybody, any living thing, any animal, any person has that essence. And as human beings, we get to fully experience consciousness. That essence of us is here for a given purpose. It's here to, first of all, expand in consciousness, expand in awareness, to learn, to explore. Because I believe that consciousness is one and we're all splinters of the same thing. And our collective purpose is to grow, expand, and to embody unconditional love. But then we have our unique purpose, like our unique person, our unique purpose that we feel called to execute on. And that can take some time to really understand what that is. And I believe that there's many purposes on the way to our bigger purpose. And then there's that leads into something else as well. But how we break the generational curse of feeling like a victim, or financial insecurity, or just not being able to navigate the world the way that we'd like to navigate it. The way we break that is we raise in our levels of consciousness, and the way we raise in our levels of consciousness is doing that internal work that is required for us to excel as human beings, to produce and create something amazing in this world, to actually fully understand what it means to love unconditionally, without attachment. And that's how we break the generational curse. I mean, you can say that it's through, I'm going to create this massive company, this massive business, and then we're never going to have to worry about money again. And yes, that is true. Because to be able to do that, there has to be some work done on your mind, your emotions, who you are, and this new identity that you're going to embody. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you break the generational curse, because you can build a business out of complete scarcity, complete fear, and you still hold the same energy of resentment towards your family or victim mentality. You can create a big business from that. I've seen it just from the networks that I've been in. But where you truly break the cycle is when you work on your levels of mastery. Because our essence, our spirituality, consciousness doesn't care about business, doesn't care about finances. They're all like, that's the 3D world. That's how we navigate the physical world. The essence of us cares about progression, growth, and embodying unconditional love. One of the highest frequencies that you can possibly embody. And authenticity, which is just you being you. Now, I know that sounds so oversimplified, but that's the essence of what our soul is here to do. Here to explore, to have different perspectives, which is why you and I are different in terms of we are in a different human body, but we are the same. I am you, you are me, we're from the same place. We are all connected. So to be able to break the generational curse of anything that's going on in your life, yes, it's about taking the big actions and to be able to create the success and all of that. But that comes with internal mastery. To truly embody that unconditional love, that feeling of congruency and confidence, clarity and conviction within ourselves, that comes from executing, living your purpose, and doing that internal work required to be able to actually see that in the external world around us. I say that because I've been able to experience that, thankfully, and that continues to grow. I struggled to make 2K a month, then I made 2K a month. Then I did more work and I was able to make 5K a month, then I was able to make 10K, 15K, 20K, etc. I was able to grow my business that way. And that still continues to grow. I'm on the journey just as much as anybody else. But I've seen this play out, that anytime I did an internal shift, or anytime I worked with somebody, or anytime I just went deep within myself and then executed from that place instead of where I was before, from an elevated level of frequency, an elevated level of consciousness. I've been able to serve to a higher level. People get better results. That returns in making more money as well. So breaking the generational curse is, yes, about creating a life where, you may not have been given that life before. But it also means to embody these higher frequencies of love and peace and joy and responsibility and neutrality in the midst of everything that is out there, to pull our attention away from truly being that. And then we can start to see life as this game we play. And the beautiful thing about all of this, what I love to do in my meditations, is to really sit down and obviously get silent and go through that whole process, but to imagine my ancestors on each side. My father's on this side, my mother's on this side. And to be able to see them come together and to almost visualize them there, having gone through and lived their life to the best of their ability, to the best way that they knew how. And for them to be cheering me on, for them to be there and to be witnessing that everything I'm doing is with a purpose and with a mission to break that cycle, to be able to pass something bigger onto the next generation. And that inspires me, and you can play around with that in whatever way you see fit. But I do believe that being able to see that evolution behind you, and to know that you are right here, right now on the front line with this mission in front of you, and it's up to you whether you choose to embody that leadership quality of being able to drive forward what you know to be true in terms of your mission. That is up to you. That brings a great sense of purpose, at least to me. So it's easy to fall into the victim mentality. It's easy to feel like the world's against you, and those feelings are 100% valid. 100%. But do they serve you moving forward? Do they stop you in your tracks? Because if they do, then they win. Those beliefs, that way of thinking, they win, and you don't progress, because the next generation is going to have to make up for that lack of action. And every single generation that has to make up for that lack of action, the more it becomes ingrained that that is an identity that our family and our bloodline has to take on and embody and deprogram to reprogram. That's why right now, if you feel like you're the one to change this, that's why it's challenging. Because generations before have struggled to be able to do this. And they haven't done what they may have could have done. Who knows? But you have the opportunity to do that. So if you find it challenging right now, and you find that, there's a lot of internal work to do. There's a lot of action to take. I'm terrified. I'm afraid. That's okay. Because you're the one here to change all of it. That's a massive, massive opportunity, but it holds a lot of weight. But it's up to us to rise. It's up to us to embody that leadership quality that is necessary to be able to carry that. And to go to bed every single night knowing that we are the ones that are moving this forward. And at the end of the day, we can do what we can do in the time that we have. And this is why this journey of self-mastery and raising our levels of consciousness is so vital. It's so important. It's the work. Because without this, what is there? Another generation with the same problems. I don't want that. And I know you don't either. So, after this video, make a committed decision to rise, to amplify your energy, to raise your levels of consciousness, and to take action with this new state, to progressively realize this goal that you have for yourself with intention, with love, with integrity, knowing that you are breaking the generational cycle in your family, and you will be the one who flipped the switch for generations to come. If that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what does. This has been Jordan. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.